The KFBK Afternoon News with Kitty O'Neill now. News Talk 1530, KFBK.
It's 4:40 now at KFBK. The family of singer Amy Winehouse did try to help their daughter with her drug addiction for years, but as you know by now, she died Saturday, just at 27 years old, a probable overdose. Well, just today, the Drug Policy Alliance issued a release saying that we have to pay more attention to drug addiction because it's one of the leading causes of accidental death in the United States, with about 27,000 deaths a year. The agency says we should stop stereotyping drug addicts as well. Well, Brad DeHaven knows a thing or two about drug addiction and how it can tear a family apart. He's a financial advisor. He lives in Granite Bay. Now, he has seen firsthand the horrors of what OxyContin addiction did to one of his sons. He actually was moved to write a book called Defining Moments, and Brad is joining me in studio. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Kitty.
Yeah. So, your life seems very normal, perfect. You're a financial advisor. You live in Granite Bay. You have a nice family. Yet you have a son that ended up being addicted to drugs. What happened?
Well, you never know quite what happened. I have two sons, one 4 years of high school golf, 5 years of college, and a degree in accounting, and the other one became a drug addict.
And how did this start?
Well, it started with a simple prescription to Vicodin when he broke his arm as a young teen, and we have a family history of addiction, and I knew now if I knew then what I know now, I would have inquired a little bit more about non-opiate-based painkillers and realized that family history has a lot to do with it. So he was triggered by that.
Did you know he was addicted at one point? Did you see behavioral changes, or what led to this whole thing?
We definitely saw behavioral changes, and just prior to 18 years old, we actually attempted to withdraw him at home, knew he was addicted to opiates, and he was losing weight, and his grades were plummeting, and he was having to, consider going to a continuation school and so on and so forth. So you could see their lives spiraling in two different directions. They both ate out of the same bowl of cereal, both had the same mom and dad, and two different results.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously you needed greater help than what you...
We did. We continued. I'm that can-do type of guy, and I thought I could handle it myself. And if I had one piece of advice for everybody out there is I don't care what you know or what you've been through. There's no way to prepare you for handling prescription drug addiction. You need the help of professionals, and you should get to them as soon as possible when you first see it. But we found out again that he was horribly addicted at about age 22. He had moved out by then, but he was arrested for possession of OxyContin, and he was pretty much a junkie on the streets at that point. He had been dealing prior to that, but he was in a pretty bad shape. At the time, he was 6'2", and he was 130 pounds when we picked him up from jail.
Wow. That must have been hard on you as a father. Did you do soul searching? Did I have something to do with this? Or?
Oh, yeah, you do soul searching. In my book, I even thank my one son for making me realize that I wasn't a complete failure as a dad at the time. But, the book, Defining Moments, I really wrote was a reflection on some of the things that I did do that were pretty bizarre. We did some of the normal things like a family intervention and attempted to withdraw Brandon once again and realized that we were ill-prepared for that. And I actually eventually went undercover for Brandon to get him out of a jail stint and into rehab. And you sit in a car with a wire running up your back waiting to be robbed by a drug addict surrounded by narcotics officers that you can't see, and you have a lot of time to think. And those are the reflections in my book.
Well, we, I guess, can give away the ending to your book, right? I mean, It has a happy ending, yes.
Well, yeah, Brandon, he's very healthy now. He's 6'2" still, 185 pounds, a great member of society, working, paying taxes, and, being just a normal guy, and happy to have the addiction behind him. And rehab was what he needed, and professional help. And I wish we'd have sought it a long time ago before we almost lost him. I mean, we could have been much like Amy Winehouse's parents and been planning a funeral instead of planning, for someday to have grandchildren and a marriage or all the things that you think about in your future.
Right. Well, I'm sure your book is probably a good resource for parents who may be dealing with a similar situation. Where do you get the Defining Moments book here, Brad?
Well, we're on Amazon, and we're getting great reviews on it, and it's also available by Kindle. So we also have a website, www.rxdrugaddict.com, which I formed to kind of be a forum for parents to look at. And I do talk to parents almost every day. I return every email personally and try to help out in any way that I can to help them understand that they need to seek help as soon as possible and stop enabling behavior. And I'm as guilty as the next one. I mean, I probably would win the enabling award for going undercover. But nonetheless, we did have a happy ending out of it. But the sooner that we can get him into rehab and And I do think the book is a good resource. I've heard good things about how it moves people, and that's very rewarding to me.
All right. Well, it's called Defining Moments, and the author that we've had in studio is Bradley DeHaven. We'll link this information on our website too, Brad, so people can find it readily. Well, thank you for coming in and sharing your story, and so glad it ended up the way that it did.
We are too. We did get a happy ending, and we hope for more in the future. So
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time and for your platform.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bradley.